Okay, so let's now demonstrate how we could carry out portfolio expectation and portfolio variance calculations using a feature of PHStat. And I'm going back to my demonstration for chapter 5, and I will open a new sheet here, okay? And actually, uh, I will use the add-ins, and PHStat is already an add-in defined for me. And PHStat, when I go to decision making, and there's a covariance and portfolio analysis here, but what it will do is it will basically create an extra sheet, okay, with the necessary uh, framework so that I input my numbers. So first, it's going to ask me a question, number of outcomes, basically number of rows. And I will put 3. This was the example in our slide. And let me click the portfolio management analysis. Otherwise, if you don't click that, it just finds covariance and expectations. All right, now when I say OK, so I have an extra sheet on my Excel now with all the necessary formulas in each of these cells. So I will just delete this now. It's not necessary. And there's a calculations area. So what I will do is first I will input my problem as the probabilities. Okay. And the X will be my passive fund. So I will have minus 25 here and 50 here, plus 50, 100 here. In the aggressive fund, I will have minus 200, 60 here. And as you see, some computations are already being performed. Now everything is ready. And there's a calculations area here. First, it calculates expectation of X, $50. Passive portfolio expectation. Expectation of aggressive, $95 here, and it's using the sum product, so you can look into how it is calculating these things. So the variance of X, and it is using the sum products of, again, B4 to B6 to G13, okay, and so it's right here, G13 to G15. So this is basically the difference from the mean squared, and the difference from the mean is calculated here for X, for Y, and the square of these values, and the product of these values are given. So the calculations are all explicitly given in the area, in the calculations area. Okay, so you can change this. And if you need more rows, like if you need 5 conditions or 6, and you can also change it from PHStat, or you can extend the sheet, writing, updating the formulas. So what we have here is the standard deviation of the passive fund, the standard deviation of the aggressive, which is larger, the covariance given here, some product of differences from the mean with the probabilities. Okay, and we also have here values that we can enter. The default portfolio is 0.5 to X, 0.5 to Y, but we could change it. So we could change it from here, the weight assigned to X. So if you could do this to 40, and this is the example given, okay? And now we could also change it to 20% X, and it gets closer to the expectation of X now. If we get, the expectation of Y. So if we get 10% X, it gets closer to expectation of Y, which is 95. So the portfolio with 10% X, 90% Y has an expected portfolio return of $90 per 1,000, and standard deviation is 178. So we could simply change this If you make this 0x, and it becomes, the portfolio becomes actually y itself. Or if you make this 1, the portfolio becomes x. So between these numbers, let me leave it at 0.5. Okay, between those numbers, you can change the portfolio.